Hi everyone, this is Paul here from the Magdalene Centre. Today I'm doing the astrology report for the week commencing 27th of February. I'm outlining some of the key aspects and transits taking place this week and giving an overview of what it all means. Before I do that, I just want to clarify, as I always do, that the astrology doesn't control our lives. It gives us a context of what's unfolding around us. It helps us to understand what lessons are there for us to be learning and what kind of areas of growth do we need to be focusing on in order to go the natural cycles. But for anything to actually change, we have to take responsibility, and we also have to take action in order to initiate the changes and recognise the opportunities being presented to us and seize them. Otherwise the opportunities just go begging. So it requires that we participate in the process. We don't just sit on the sidelines and expect things to happen for us without any effort on our part. Now, in terms of the transits this week, I'll begin with the moon as usual. We start with the moon in Sagittarius, so this is a time where you may feel that desire to kind of explore new ideas, explore new belief systems, and is that search for truth, so potentially seeking new knowledge or new experiences. On Thursday the moon will enter Capricorn, so this is a time for taking responsibility for how our lives unfold, or recognising where our own actions or lack thereof contribute to the life we're living at the moment. And if we're not happy with where we are at the moment, then it's up to us to take responsibility to change it. There's also a good time to kind of work on the major projects and work on developing the discipline necessary to see them through. On Saturday the moon will then enter Aquarius, so this is a good time for kind of connecting with community, and it's also looking at our place within our communities, take stock of our situation, what kind of roles do we play within it, or in what ways do we help our communities out, and are there any more efficient ways, or are there any alternative ways that we can also lend our skills to help our communities. Before on Tuesday the moon enters Pisces, and this is a time to take that inward journey, to engage in meditation or any kind of spiritual practice that emphasises surrender, letting go of attachments, and feeling that sense of oneness. And this then leads into the new moon, which will take place next Wednesday, but that'll be part of next week's report, and obviously there'll be a separate video on the new moon itself. Now, in terms of the aspects this week, it's a comparatively quiet week compared to previous ones, but this is, considering what's coming up ahead in March, this week may be more like the calm before the storm, as it were. It's that period where, if we use it constructively to let go of anything that we don't need at this time, then we prepare ourselves for the rapid changes that March will potentially bring us. So, the first aspect I want to cover is this sextile between the Sun and Mars. So this is exact on the 1st. So this aspect brings us an opportunity to identify because it's a harmonious aspect, so our actions can more readily be seen as a vehicle to express who we are. So it's bringing our actions into alignment with who we are and how we want to grow at this time. And it's also about bringing the desire function under the guidance of our higher will. So it's about recognising what kind of actions do we want to take, or what opportunities are there for us to take the necessary action based on the goals that we're setting for ourselves, and making sure that the actions that we're taking are in alignment with the areas of maximum growth available to us. So it requires that discipline, if you like, to make sure that the actions and desires are a reflection of who we are, and they're not coming from the ego and going across purpose to what we truly wish to desire, or what we truly desire and wish to grow at this time. And we also have, a day later, Venus is entering Aquarius, so this is a time where, in terms of our desires and relationships, it's more likely to be based around having relationships that foster or encourage us to express our uniqueness. There's also that kind of relationship that is about mutual empowerment, and it's bringing a more altruistic set of values into play. So it's, whereas Capricorn was more about stability, practicality, and integrity or commitment, as it were. Aquarius is more about social connections. It's more about the wider humanity, and it's more about the future, and it's also about embracing novelty and originality that allows us to break free of social conventions and embrace other parts of ourselves that would otherwise be heavily suppressed. So Venus in Aquarius is an opportunity for us to foster or create environments within our relationships that encourage the unique expression of the other person. What I mean by that is that we all have a certain degree of social conditioning that is layered on top of who we really are. The true self would be the same no matter what culture we're raised in. So it's moving beyond the conditioned self and encouraging one another to strip away any conditioning that's born out of cultural influence or born out of social influence, and instead encourage that person to strip away those illusions, to figure out who they really are. But ideally in any given relationship it should be mutual, so they should also be offering the same trust, encouraging and honouring that unique sense of self that makes us who we are, and that having that vibe that attracts the tribe, as it were. So that's the Venus part. Now arguably the main event for this week is that Mercury's turning retrograde next Tuesday. So I'll do another video in more detail on this, but this is the key point, which is the beginning of several significant changes all taking place in fairly quick succession next week. But Mercury is the catalyst or the starting point. It's entirely within the sign of Pisces, so this retrograde is about awareness of more spiritual truths, or is about stripping away the comforting illusions that we cling to and allowing the intellect to see the higher picture, or to see what's really going on. So it's a time where we need to be honest with ourselves about how we see things, and are we living in illusion or are we living in truth? Are we honest with ourselves, or do we believe the lies in our heads? So it's a time to really strip away some of the illusions that we've held on to, which may have given us a false sense of comfort, but actually keep us playing small, keep us trapped in a lower level of self-expression. So, and it's also embracing that more right-brained perception, that part of us that sees in pictures or films as opposed to chains of words in the head. So the main thing to remember for this week is to make sure that we're slowing down, ready for when Mercury turns retrograde on Tuesday, because when Mercury turns retrograde, if we're still trying to rush around and pay attention to only what's immediately in front of us, then the Mercury retrograde will more than likely be felt as significant chaos. But the point of a Mercury retrograde is to allow us to see a higher truth and to bring greater integration within the psyche. So it's bringing in, or helping us to integrate the left and right brain. So it's like the left brain powers down for a bit, so it's because it's the part of us that we're always using in modern day society, and it's given the right, what's in the intuition or the subconscious, a chance to come to the surface for us to face it and address it, because all the information still goes in. It's not like it wasn't there before, it's just the conscious mind may have discarded it or ignored it, but it's stored in the subconscious instead. So it's time to focus on looking at the bigger picture and seeing what information did we miss or did we overlooked, and how can we achieve a better understanding of the truth by allowing these new insights to be shown to us and to integrate them within our own consciousness. As I said, I'll do another video on that in future. But I hope this is your guide for the week. As I said, it's fairly slow and there's not much happening this time round, but as I said, it's like a calm before the storm, because next week we have the new moon in Pisces on the same day that Uranus completely moves into Taurus. So this week, if the more we make use of it and the more we engage in some kind of spiritual practice to develop a degree of inner peace and inner congruence, so we integrate different parts of ourselves, and the more we let go of any old attachments and let go of any fears of change, the more easily we can then incorporate the new insights coming in from all the aspects and changes taking place next week and throughout March. So that's a useful guide for the week. May bring you many insights and may help you to strip away any illusions, and may also aid you in taking the necessary actions to fulfill whatever goals you set for yourself. Just remember though, that because the Sun's in Pisces, which is the last sign of the zodiac, this is more time for taking action in order to close chapters as opposed to opening new ones at this time. So it's a time for going inwards, of working out what needs to be let go of and what we still need to keep a hold of, because it will serve as a tool for our growth in the next cycle. And this is also time for getting in touch with our dreams, of looking at what do we want to create in the next astrological cycle, and what do we need to let go of in order to make space for these goals to be given a chance to grow when the next astrological cycle begins on the 20th of March. So may this week bring you many blessings and insights. Take care and be blessed.